chance for even a moment.
You're back. Please, tell me what you found. Please, tell me what you found. Let me see that. Huh, I knew it. Gratian's death wasn't because of a rock fall. It was just a story to keep people away from the tombs. Now that I have his journal in hand, I can get some closure from the East Empire Company. Make them pay for lying to everyone. Thank you. Now, I believe I owe you a little more than a debt of gratitude for all that work you did. Here, it's not much, but it's the best an old retired miner can do. Those cowards left decades ago. Every single damned one of them. The moment the ebony mine dried up, they pulled up stakes. Ridiculous. Solstheim is still rich in ebony ore. I know there's more down there. I can smell it. I come from 3 generations of miners, and I'm telling you that the East Empire Company was wrong. They just didn't want to spend the coin trying to find it. Our home has stood in Raven Rock since the colony was founded. Grayson helped build it with his own 2 hands. After Grayson died, he left behind a wife and a son. My grandfather, Relicus. Relicus lived there for quite a long time, working in the other sections of the mine until he was slain by reavers. I never knew my father. My mother and I always lived alone. I asked her about him many times, but she seemed angry and refused to speak about him. So eventually, I let it go. When I was old enough, I began working in the mine, hoping to make my fortune and eventually move to the Imperial City. Unfortunately, yes. I only had enough coins saved to send one of us back to the Imperial City. So I sent my mother alone. I wanted her to see her homeland before she died. Until I met my darling Aphia, yes. I suppose you could have called me a bitter old hermit. Now I'm just old. Mark my words. Raven Rock isn't finished yet.
Your skin's as pale as the snow. You scared of sunlight or something? Be careful out there. Who's there?
Where is this?
There's an intruder in the fort. Repel him immediately. Fort Frostmoth will never fall. Long live the Empire!
Prepared for your death!
Done and done.
Match it all.
I knew I heard something.
Are you prepared for your death? I will feast on your
Remember how
You return! Foolish mortal!
this won't end well for you. Get it now while we can. That'll teach you. I was sure I heard something.
There can be no other end. The challenger is near. No match at all. The challenger is near.
I knew I heard something.
No match at all. Challenger is near!
I'll see you tanks forever. From me. I'll see you in pieces.
Failed.
Oh, what is it? Anything good?
The entire island isn't covered in ash, you know.
What news do you bring from Fort Frostmoth?
And it's freezing up there.
I had my suspicions that he was undead. How else could he have survived for over 200 years? It's a shame. There are quite a few tales of General Carius's exploits, including the founding of Raven Rock. Councillor Morvain told me to give this to you if you made it back in one piece. And you got rid of General Carius. Better than a soldier's pay, so you should be thankful. I'm sorry to bother you, but Second Councillor Rano asked me to come find you. He said it's quite urgent. All he wanted me to do is track you down and send you to him. Look, this is important. Even more important than wiping out the ash spawn. Please, go speak to the Second Councillor as soon as possible.
Head over to the retching Netch if the ash has your throat parched.
Plenty of work in the mine.
Seems you've inherited a situation. Drovus Relvi owes me 1,000 septims. At least he did until you set him up with that Telvanni wizard. Now he's untouchable. The way I figure it, it's your fault he can't pay me. So I guess I'm going to have to collect it from you. Nothing for now, but watch your back. I'll be sending collectors to find you. They won't ask so nicely. One way or the other, I'll get my money. Tired of running? I knew you were weak. Now pay me. Take your best shot, Fetcher. But if you draw on me, the guards will put a bounty on your head, not mine. I'll give you this. Tired of running? I knew you were weak. Now pay me. Yeah, that sounds good. Half. I think that'll work. Until next time.
Thank you for coming. After everything you've already done for Raven Rock, I hate to ask for more, but I can't risk Councillor Morvain being killed. The Ulan family of House Lalu, a rival great house, has placed a death mark on the Councillor's head. It's a private matter. Let's just say they seek revenge for the execution of one of their own, ordered by Councillor Morvain himself. The problem is I don't have any solid proof that anyone from House Lalu is hidden among us. Only my suspicions. It may be justified, but it certainly isn't appreciated. Councillor Morvain simply feels that I'm being paranoid. I'm afraid that one day I'll awaken and discover him dead. And I don't want it to come to that. I do. I've received some information from my sources that there could be elements of Ulan's house, House Lalu, already in Raven Rock. Raven Rock is a small settlement, so it's hard to accomplish anything in secret. If any of them is from House Lalu, I wouldn't be able to make a move without them knowing. I had a feeling you'd be willing to listen to me. I need you to start out by being my eyes and ears. Search Raven Rock and see if you can root out these traitors. The best place to start would be Geldis Sadri, over at the Retching Netch Corner Club. If he provides you any leads, check them out before bringing them to my attention. We can't afford to make any mistakes. traitors. The lot of them. Their collaboration with the Empire may have given them unrivaled political and economic strength, but their hearts weren't with the Dunmer people. Lalu deserved every bit of hatred they received once the Empire released its grasp on Morrowind. Having past ties to the Empire immediately turned them into the scapegoat for the Dunmer people's suffering. They had welcomed the Empire with open arms and benefited from it. When everything was said and done, they were no longer recognized as a great house and were dismissed from the council. You might think it's all perfume and roses now that the mine's open, but all I see is a new security problem on our hands. Making sure those shipments of ebony make it safely from the mine to the shipping docks is my new order of the day. And with Solstheim crawling with reavers and Azora knows what else, I can't risk any attacks on Ravenrock. I maintain a few contacts in other Dunmer settlements across Tamriel. Most hail from House Redoran, but there are a few from other houses. Most of my contacts live leagues away from Solstheim. Sending the occasional message back and forth is all we can manage, and sometimes takes months or more to arrive. However, any information we can glean in times like this I consider vital to House Redoran's survival. During the Oblivion Crisis, gates to the Plane of Oblivion opened all over Morrowind. The Empire pulled most of its forces out of Morrowind to deal with the gates in their own homeland, leaving us virtually defenseless. We had no standing army at the time, just uncoordinated pockets of resistance.
Is it because of your father? Or is it...
House Redoran took charge and was slowly able to build an army. It took years, but it became a force to be reckoned with. When the Argonians invaded years later, House Redoran's army was able to prevent them from sweeping across all of Morrowind. It would be fair to say that House Redoran literally saved the Dunmer people from destruction. Don't worry. You can trust Geldus. He's been with us for a long time.
You got a good thing going here now that you've reopened the mines. Don't let it go to waste. Glover Mallory's the name. If you're looking for a smith, I've always had a steady stream of work thanks to the Redoran Guard, so it hasn't affected me much. However, I've seen the smile on people's faces, and there's hope around here once again. Something we've been lacking for a long time. Bring your weapons and armor to me. I'll fix it up right.
Oh, hello. You looking for a handout or something?
You got a good thing going here
Don't
now
be
that
put
you've
off
reopened
by my
the
husband's
mines.
mood.
Don't let it go
He
to
enjoys
waste.
having visitors.
Glover Mallory's the name. If you're looking to protect yourself or deal some damage. Bring
Be
your
careful
weapons
out
and
there.
armor to me. I'll fix it up right.
Don't like those eyes you got. So you're interested in my potions and ingredients? Careful with those netches. They may look tame, but they can seriously hurt you and threaten.
This may be the frontier, but we've still got rules.
Do you have any plans?
Break them and you'll wind up in the prisons.
Closed over there. Well, the mine's open, people are buying drinks, and I'm making money again. Well, well, Adril's got himself a spy, does he? Azura knows he needs all the help he can get. He's been chasing the Ulans for years now. No, I just think he's going about this the wrong way. Actually, I do. If you want to catch those slippery slaughterfish, you need to let them come to you. There's an Ulan ancestral tomb near the temple. Someone's been leaving ash yam offerings on the altar inside. If you were to wait inside for whomever that is, I'm betting they'll have some of the answers you're looking for. What makes you think I haven't? Anytime Adril and the Redarin Guard made a move, the Ulans must have been one step ahead and didn't show up. You can thank me if it works. Until then, I'd head to the tomb and wait until your visitor shows up. When a Dunmer is laid to rest, the body is burned and returned to the ashen soil. Since the ash yam is born of the very same soil, it represents rebirth and renewal, the fact that life ends and begins anew. Back in 95, Vila Ulin came to Raven Rock with a plan to take over our town. The Fetcher thought he could stir up the locals and use them against the Redarin Guard, and then murder Consul and Morvain when we weren't looking. What? Welcome to the Retching Netch Corner Club. Back in 95, the Fetcher thought he could stir up the locals and use them against the Redarin Guard, and then murder Consul and Morvain when we weren't looking. He arrived alone, but spread enough coin around to start changing people's minds. Half the bloody town joined his side. Can you believe that? He underestimated the Redarin Guard. They were organized and brought a swift end to the coup. Vila tried to run, but he was caught by Captain Velith himself. Vila Ulan was executed a short time later, and his remains placed in the Ulan ancestral tomb. How do you think? It's a blessing. I've got regular paying customers again, thirsty workers at the end of the day, and more coin than I can count. Take a look. Come back any time. My doors are always open.
You can go where you please, but I'd say stay inside the bulwark if I were you.
I'll give you this warning only once. Stay out of my way, and we'll do just fine.
Excuse me. I didn't realize there was anyone else here. I presume the same thing you're doing, leaving an offering for the departed. Forgive my surprise. It's just that I wouldn't expect that sort of behavior from someone who isn't Dunmer. Since there aren't any Ulans left on this island, I've taken it upon myself to leave the traditional offering in their stead. What kind of nonsense is that? I'm simply honoring a fellow departed Dunmer, and you hurl baseless accusations at me? Now, if you'll excuse me, I'd like to meditate a bit.
Can't get blood from a stone, Mogwai. As it is, we can barely make ends meet.
I hope Gelders proved useful. Have you made any progress?
That I wanted it back by first harvest.
Telesu. Are you sure? So Gelders' plan worked, eh? Every time we tried it, no one would ever show up. If Telesu's involved in any sort of plot to harm Councillor Morvain, I'm going to need hard evidence to prove it. I'm not kicking down anyone's door until I have solid evidence in hand. If you're wrong about Telesu, things would quickly go downhill around here, and the real culprits might slip away. I can't afford for that to happen. If you have evidence, and it places your life in peril, I would expect you to do whatever you must to keep yourself alive. Here, this key should open the front door of the manor in case they've locked it. Good luck. Telesu is wife to the family patriarch Vendel. They have a single child, a daughter named Miri. They arrived here 10 years ago and have been nothing but a benefit to Raven Rock ever since. They're quite wealthy, and they've been quite generous by sharing their fortune with the community. They've contributed coin, food, supplies, even helped repair a few of the buildings in town with their own hands. People have mentioned it's a bit odd about how close in age Mary appears to be to her father, but that's hardly a cause for alarm. Just make sure you find solid evidence. If I accuse them without it, I'll be the laughing stock of the colony. Be careful. If the Severans have betrayed us, then they'll be well armed.
Hello?
Who's
there?
I know you're in here.
For House Halal.
I'll see you burn.
Morvain will pay for this!
It's not my time.
Best, huh? Die, little lackey! That's the best you can do! Tell them people! House Lalu will have its revenge!
You lost?
You've brought Raven Rock back from the brink, traveler. I don't know how to thank you.
Did you find any evidence at Severin Manor yet? Then we finally have them. All that remains now is chasing them down and bringing them to justice. Good. I'm going to send two of the best Redoran Guard we have to take them down. I want you to assist them any way you can. See that you do. We can't afford to let these traitors slip away. Ashfallow Citadel's been abandoned for a long time.
Someone there.
Where'd you come
Give
from?
up while you still can!
That'll teach you. Where'd you That'll teach you. Who's there? I knew I heard something. This won't end well for you.